Alright, welcome back. Let's talk blades, because that's what we're into. So today I have for you a very interesting knife. All these intros kind of sound the same. I have something for you very interesting. I have something for you very different. Something very good. Something very... Yeah, well, I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to... I like all of them, I guess. I don't know. But this one is quite interesting. This is meant to be a self-defense knife. It is called the Spyderco Pical. And this is actually the type of knife that it's a little... I'll explain it to the best way I can. This knife doesn't really require too much training, but at the same time it kind of does. In a way, you need to know how to draw it out of your pocket, and you need to be able to know how to grip it a certain way. And then the motor skills to this is kind of like a reverse grip, kind of Friday the 13th kind of slashing, stabbing, sticking kind of way. Either way, it's a very interesting knife, and I had to have it because seeing it and seeing a video on how it was drawn out of the pocket and how it was used, a very interesting thing. So, this knife is quite small, but it has the wave mechanism on there. It is, this is considered a removable Emerson wave. And what that means is this thing screws out. It screws out, and you can leave it out or you can leave it in, but it is intended to be left in. I found that out because I actually lost this thing. It actually came out one day, and I looked all over for it, and I found it in the floor. So that was a really frustrating time. But what this is you have it on in your right hand pocket, your dominant hand pocket, and you draw it out like you would a karambit. And what that does is it goes and it pulls out, because when you have it in your pocket, you're supposed to kind of angle it a little bit so it can catch onto the lip of your pocket once it goes out of your pocket, and it pops it out like so. Once you have it out, you are supposed to roll it in your hand to where it's in this configuration, this grip. And once it's in this grip, you're supposed to slash inward, not outward, inward with it, in kind of like an X motion. So it's like 1, 2 type thing. Very interesting piece. It is a bit tricky because there's a lot going on right here. You have to know how to grip it, like I said. Once it comes out of the pocket, boom, you're supposed to roll it, and then you have it in your hand as such, and you're supposed to use it kind of like a, you can thrust with it a little bit, and then you could slash with it in that motion. It was designed by, I think it's designed by a Filipino martial arts practitioner. His logo is right there. Kind of cool looking. But this is supposed to be one that any civilian can use as long as they know how to draw it out the pocket. When I first saw this, I thought you had to hold it like this. But I noticed that there was no jimping here for this finger. So I was like, well, that's kind of because this is curved like that a little bit, in that direction. So it's kind of like it doesn't look very comfortable to try and use this in that way. I mean, you could very well use this like that, like so, but it is curved this way. So when you pull it out the pocket, this pinky finger goes in this recessed opening right here. So when you roll it, it fits. And the reason why it's curved like that, so that way it's curved with your hand, so you have a better chance of striking in that motion without it being too far that way. It's going to be a little bit more that way, and the blade's going to be exposed more for that motion. Very interesting knife. Part of my self-defense kind of lineup. Not cheap. It is not cheap. I can tell you Right now it goes for $213.15 on Amazon. When I bought it, yeah, it was around about $200, if not a little bit over. But it is a great knife. It is one of those knives that I just kind of had to have. Very interesting way to go about using this. Very, very interesting. But like I said, it has its purpose, and this is kind of a single purpose driven knife. I don't see myself drawing this knife and slashing at boxes so I can get them open like that. Just alright, I get to the contents and the contents is all messed up because of my eager willingness to use this knife for something other than taking a life or defending myself. So let's go into the specs on this knife. Oh, by the way, it is Spyderco CPM S30V steel on this blade. Golden, Colorado, USA Earth, because we know that it's not Golden, Colorado, USA Mars. And it has the pocket clip, the wire pocket clip that everybody loves. The only thing that, and I know the reason why they did this, I think I would have liked it if it was a deep carry pocket clip, but a little bit is supposed to stick out so that way you can draw this out the pocket. So, makes sense. Let's go in the weight here. But it's kind of a small knife. I'm holding it with just my thumb and my index finger. It's a bit small, but it is effective. There's a Chinese proverb that says, if you can kill a man with a blade of grass, then you could use anything as a weapon. Something to that effect. I think I read that in the fortune cookie once. I don't know. So, 3.66 ounces. So, kind of small. Now I'm going to do a couple of weird measurements. I'm going to do a measurement with it closed and then with a measurement of it open. So about 4.5 inches, okay, a little less than 4.5 inches altogether when it's folded. When it's unraveled, you are looking at a little over 2.5, a 3-inch blade with close to a 7.5 inch overall length when it's open. And of course, with the jimping that you see here, there are steel liners in there, but they are milled out for weight reduction. You can kind of see that hole right there, and that hole, and those holes. So that's nice. There is no lanyard for this, so do not ask. For people who are like, oh, I want mine to have a lanyard. You're not supposed to have a lanyard on this thing. It's not meant for that. Now let's go ahead and check out the thickness. So the handle scale right now, it is 11.3 millimeters. And the blade is 2.5 millimeters thick. So, yeah. Have I carried this knife? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I have. And I've drawn this knife out of my pocket. But, I gotta be honest with you, in a stressful situation, the motor skills, in my opinion, if you need to defend yourself, it needs to come quick. It needs to be surefire, confident when you do have to pull a weapon out of your pocket that is a blade. You want it to be as easy as possible so you do not fumble with it, drop it, or lose it, or have no confidence at all in knowing that it's going to work and abort trying to use it when you could have used it to save your own life. Because in a moment's notice, you need something that's going to be effective. And something like this, I'm going to tell you right now, you have to practice with it. And having all the steps in the world, the best step is the Emerson Wave. If you're used to the Emerson Wave, it is a surefire thing with confidence. You're less likely to drop the item when you're pulling it out. You could have sweaty palms, sweaty hands, or bloody hands, depending on whether or not you were attacked and you need to pull something out of your pocket, which is why I like G10, because it's nice and grippy. So when your hands are wet or sweaty or even bloody, you still have good grip on G10. It never loses that grip. So this Pical being what it is and drawing it out of the pocket, you have to be able to not only draw it out the pocket, but roll it in your hand into a certain configured grip in order to use it for self-defense. So that's a whole nother process you have to keep in mind while doing that. And then, of course, a regular knife with an Emerson wave, all it is a very easy motion. You take it out the pocket and it's ready to go, and all you have to do is kind of adjust your grip maybe a little in order to get the desired grip to defend yourself. With all that being said, it all comes down to your own preference. Some people like pulling out the knife and flicking it open and having it ready because it's just what they're used to doing, and they know that. So if you're used to doing that and you're pretty confident in it, well then, that's your self-defense mechanism. That is your teaching, whether you taught yourself, whether someone taught you before. If that's something that you're used to and you're familiar with it, then it works for you. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. And this Pical is probably one of my least favorite self-defense knives, but one of my more favorite self-defense knives when it comes to it being as different and as interesting as it is. Still really cool. You know, you grab that, pull it out your pocket, roll it in your hands, and now you have it ready to stab, ring, type thing. So, if that's something you're interested in, then hey, by all means, check it out. It's not cheap, but that all depends on you. So, Spyderco Pical, people. I will see it to it that I'll just see you in the next video.